Was the Pyramid of Kukulkan merely a temple, or was it a carefully constructed instrument meant to speak with the gods themselves? Could the eerie hiss that travels along its steps, perfectly mimicking a serpent's whisper, be evidence of a ritual so secret, so forbidden, that every chronicler who approached it risked erasure from history? And if this sound was intentional, what dark knowledge did the architects possess? Knowledge that was hidden behind stones and silence for centuries, revealed only to those who dared to listen closely enough. The Pyramid of Kukulkan, known today as El Castillo, stands at the heart of Chichen Itza, rising from the Yucatan like a stone, sentinel of a civilization that vanished, yet left traces more perplexing than any conquest or collapse could explain. Officially, it is celebrated as a marvel of Mayan architecture, a seasonal calendar encoded in stone, a place of worship and celestial alignment. Historians praise the precision of its design, 365 steps for each day of the solar year, the equinox shadows that create the illusion of a descending serpent, and terraces meticulously aligned with celestial bodies. It is remembered as a monument to human ingenuity, a testament to a people who measured time in stars and stone. Yet, behind this celebrated legacy lies a persistent echo, literally, a sound that defies expectation, one that has haunted investigators for decades. When a hand clap is made at the base of its staircase, a noise returns, not merely a reflection, but a high-pitched hiss, strikingly similar to the call of a rattlesnake. Scholars who first measured it in the air, 20th century, noted the anomaly but quickly dismissed it as coincidence or acoustic curiosity. But closer examination suggests something far more deliberate. Could this have been a secret ritual instrument? A bridge between the earthly and the divine? Welcome to Noetera, Worlds Within, where we uncover secrets history tried to bury. Stay till the end. And don't forget to subscribe. In the dusty halls of the National Institute of Anthropology and History in Mexico City, a ledger lies forgotten behind glass, edges yellowed and brittle. Its pages contain notes from a 1930s excavation at Chichen Itza. The entries are brief, clinical in tone, yet one phrase stands out, scrawled in shaky pencil. The sound. It is deliberate. The steps speak like the serpent of Kukulkan. What is remarkable is not only the observation but the context. At the time, the idea that a pyramid could intentionally mimic animal sounds was so radical, so threatening to established archaeology, that the note was sealed in a restricted folder marked "Confidential, do not publish." In present day, acoustic engineers stand at the base of the pyramid, tape measures and microphones in hand, replicating the experiment. Each clap produces the unmistakable hiss and the waveform. Analysis reveals frequencies aligned with the natural resonances of the stone steps. It is not random. The pyramid's builders understood sound with a precision that modern science struggles to explain. Was it meant as a communication system, a warning, a sacred language only understood by those who dared approach the sacred structure? Fragmentary documents recovered from the Codex Madrid hint at a ritual, practice that could illuminate this mystery. One page, damaged and partially illegible, contains a diagram resembling the pyramid's profile, annotated with markings interpreted by some as instructions for sound generation. The text reads, "And the serpent shall hiss, carrying the voice of the gods across stone and shadow. Only the chosen shall hear." Scholars debate its meaning endlessly. Was this metaphorical, symbolic, or literal instruction for sonic ritual? Conflicting testimonies exist in colonial records. Diego de Landa, the Spanish bishop notorious for burning Mayan manuscripts, wrote of ceremonies in which priests made sounds of the serpent during sacred festivals. Official interpretations dismiss these as poetic descriptions of flutes or rattles. Yet, recent acoustic reconstructions suggest that the pyramid itself could produce the hiss naturally when struck, a phenomenon no flute could replicate. Was De Landa unwittingly recording evidence of a long-forgotten sonic ritual, or did he simply romanticize what he saw? The stones themselves speak of secrecy. Archaeological surveys reveal subtle asymmetries in the staircases, minute variations in riser height, almost imperceptible to casual observation, but critical for producing the unique echo. These are not mistakes, they are deliberate. One field researcher notes, "Notice the fourth step on the west stair. The stone is slightly thinner. It amplifies the frequency in a way that seems unnatural. Tell me this isn't intentional." Could these slight adjustments in architecture have been a form of coded ritual design, intended to transmit messages or even commands across the temple? A diary from an early 20th century explorer adds a chilling layer. Arthur Sylvester, who documented ruins in the Yucatan, describes an initiation ceremony at Kukulkan, witnessed but never fully understood. He writes, "The priests clapped in rhythm, and the stone answered. The hiss was not simply echo, but language. The initiates trembled, some wept. I do not know what they heard, but it was as if the serpent spoke to them directly. None dared leave the site that night without fear in their eyes." Sylvester's diary, long buried in an archive in London, contains sketches showing the alignment of participants with the sound path. The possibility arises, was the echo used not just for divine communication, but as an instrument of control, shaping behavior through sound? The evidence in the stones aligns curiously with Mayan mythology. Kukulkan, the feathered serpent, was a deity of power, duality, and transformation. Temples, codices, and murals depict him descending upon mortals with serpentine grace. Could the echoing hiss have been intended to literally invoke the presence of the deity? A manuscript fragment from the Dresden Codex suggests as much, though heavily damaged. Hear him in stone, speak without lips. Yet, some scholars insist this was allegorical, a metaphor for divine presence, rather than a practical sonic effect. The pendulum swings again. Modern scientific analysis deepens the mystery. Acoustic studies show that the pyramid steps function as resonators, tuned to frequencies within the range of human hearing, but strikingly similar to certain bird and serpent vocalizations. Could the Mayans have known this, exploiting natural resonance to create effects that modern engineers stumble upon only centuries later? The implications are ethically disturbing. A civilization that used architecture as a weaponized spiritual instrument, blurring lines between worship, manipulation, and control. Conflicting interpretations arise from comparative studies. Some researchers argue the echo is accidental, a byproduct of stone choice and construction techniques. Others, however, point to ritualistic precision, the calculated alignment of staircases with solar events, and the documented observation of priests using handclaps during sacred ceremonies. A recovered testimony from a descendant of Chichen Itza's priestly line states, "They built it so only those who knew the serpent's language could understand. The sound was sacred, feared, and forbidden to misuse. Outsiders could not grasp it, but the temple taught us all things." If true, the implications are unsettling. Did the echo serve as a secret code, audible only to initiates? And what knowledge was so perilous it needed to be hidden in stone and sound? Investigating the surrounding structures uncovers further anomalies. Smaller pyramids and altars demonstrate similar acoustic properties. Temple courtyards, when struck at precise points, produce harmonic overtones aligning with Kukulkan's legend. Archaeologists once dismissed these as coincidence, but careful measurements reveal intentionality. A deliberate layering of sonic architecture. Could the Mayans have constructed an entire city as a symphony of ritual sound, each stone, step, and space functioning as part of a sacred orchestra meant to summon, communicate, or control? Even the shadows contribute to the mystery. During equinoxes, the pyramid casts a serpent-shaped shadow that seems to descend the staircase. Observers note the simultaneous hiss, producing a multisensory illusion of life, movement, and voice. Colonial records contain references to voices in stone during these times, yet mainstream interpretations reduce them to superstition. Could this convergence of sound, shadow, and human observation have been designed to elicit fear, reverence, or obedience? Ritual experience carefully orchestrated to leave an indelible mark on participants' psyche. Some forbidden letters, smuggled from private archives, suggest darker uses. One fragment, written by an anonymous 17th century monk, reads, "They commanded the sound, and the serpent answered. Those who heard without permission were punished. Knowledge in the echo is dangerous, carrying the weight of gods and men alike. If revealed, it would destroy belief and order." The language is cryptic yet chilling, hinting at a moral and political control embedded within ritual acoustics. Was the echo a sacred secret weapon, maintained through fear, taboo, and suppression? Coded messages carved into lesser-known murals complicate the picture further. Symbols aligned along the pyramid's northern stairway correspond to sound-producing positions. Only when struck in a particular sequence do they produce harmonics that mirror the hiss of Kukulkan. Could this be an encoded message, a ritual instruction, or a recording of ancient knowledge encrypted in stone? If so, what ethical boundaries were crossed in preserving or revealing this knowledge? Who was meant to hear and who was forbidden? The pendulum swings again when contrasting evidence surfaces. Some anthropologists argue that echoes of this kind are a natural phenomenon in stepped pyramids, reproducible in many sites without invoking divine communication. Yet, the specificity of Kukulkan's hiss, combined with ritualistic documentation, shadows, and sequenced carvings, makes coincidence increasingly implausible. Could it be that we are witnessing one of the oldest, engineered acoustic rituals in human history, deliberately designed to intertwine sound, myth, and control? Or is it a clever misinterpretation of surviving artifacts, amplified by our modern desire for forbidden knowledge? Observation of artifacts adds eerie texture to the mystery. Small ceramic vessels discovered near the pyramid emit faint humming when rubbed or struck, potentially functioning as resonance amplifiers. Manuscripts describe similar objects as sound vessels of Kukulkan. Was this part of a multi-sensory ritual network, an acoustic architecture extending beyond stone, integrating artifacts, architecture, and human interaction into a ritual that blurred boundaries between reality and myth? Inscriptions at the pyramid's base remain partially untranslated. A fragment reads, "The hiss will call, and the unworthy shall flee, but the chosen shall ascend with the serpent's voice." Every translation attempt leaves more questions than answers. Scholars argue over the precise meaning, yet the emotional weight is undeniable. Fear, reverence, and awe were embedded in the design, carefully calibrated through architecture and sound. Could the Mayans have weaponized faith itself, embedding moral, political, and spiritual control within stone and echo? The evidence presents a spectrum of possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. Did the pyramid's hiss serve merely as ritual, or was it also a warning, a moral check, or a political instrument? Were participants aware of their manipulation, or did the echo bypass cognition entirely, triggering instinctive responses? And if such sonic knowledge existed, why was it suppressed, its methods erased, its purpose obscured for centuries? Whether the echo represents a deliberate channel to the divine, a coded system of ritual instruction, or an accidental byproduct of architectural genius, is left for interpretation. Each layer of evidence, from manuscripts and murals to acoustic experiments and testimonies, contributes to a narrative that refuses closure. Some whisper that the pyramid speaks still, but only to those who can decipher the forbidden code, the language of a serpent, carried across stone and shadow. Whether these echoes reveal the lost wisdom of an ancient civilization, or merely reflect our human compulsion to find meaning where none was intended, is yours to judge. The stones, the hiss, the shadows, all remain, waiting, silent yet speaking. If you want more forbidden histories and hidden truths, subscribe to No Etera and continue this journey with us. History is never finished. It whispers, hisses, and waits to be understood.